Sure, ma'am.
Good afternoon to the entire gathering. Indrashil University welcomes the keynote speaker today, Dr. Pranam Thakur, who is Director and CEO, Maitri Group of Hospitals, Surat. He will be addressing on a very significant topic, intelligent demand and skill requirements in public-private hospitals. With pleasure, I extend welcome to the panelists from Indrashil University, Dr. Ashwini Vora, she is Director, PGDHM, Dr. Bharti Dave, she is Dean, School of Science, Mr. Abhinand Pandya, he is Project Head at IU. The audience and participants are also welcome who have expressed their interest in today's webinar. Going with the flow, we move on to the opening remarks and a brief overview of Indrashil University. For this, I invite Mr. Abhinand Pandya, who holds substantial experience in hospital sector while handling portfolio of Apollo Hospitals as project head. Abhinand sir, please.
Yeah, thank you, Namrata ma'am, for giving such a nice introduction. And first of all, I would like to thank you, Dr. Pranam Thakurji, for sparing his valuable time and enriching the knowledge of students, prospective students, as well as all of us into this broad topic of hospital management, the demand supply. That's an important thing. And I'll say that sir has got such a enriching CV of his own that we are, enchanted, valued to have him here. And I will not spend much time on my speech. I would like to listen to sir over there. I'll start with my short and brief presentation about IU and something about hospital management, because I have a small and minor experience in Apollo Hospital, turning around that part when we took over the Apollo Hospitals, which was in 2007. Still, we are continuing as a 50% partner, Cadila Pharmaceuticals, and it's running profitable as such. Earlier, there were some challenges, and a lot of things which has happened when I was there. We started with nursing college over there. We started with Heart Hospital, Onco JV, which has been started till the last assignment was there. STEMsite India was started. Many of you may not know, STEMsite India is into umbilical cord banking, and it has helped more than 45 children to solve cases of thalassemia major, and that we have done it through help of Apollo Chennai and other pediatric transplant surgeons. So this small brief about a small assignment with Apollo Hospitals. Now I'd like to share my screen about IU. Thank you. Hope you are able to see the screen.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, okay. And welcome you all to Indrashil University. That's what we say, your gateway to the corporate world. And good afternoon to you all the prospective students, healthcare workers, healthcare professionals, the doctors, even the nursing staff, everybody. Welcome to Indrashil University. Just giving you a brief about Indrashil University, in 1943, there is a spark idea which came in the mind of our founder chairman, I.A. Modi sir, when his cousin brother, who died out because of lack of medicine at that point of time before independence, there were no in-house medicine, made in India was not that prevalent. But then he started that I am going to manufacture medicine so that nobody is deprived of medicine, and I will produce the medicine so that it is available, affordable to everybody. And that's where that journey started in 1943 from a small village called Hasod, where we still run a hospital, Kakaba Hospital, where everybody is treated free. And in 1951, he started Cadila Laboratories. And that's how the journey of Cadila began, with his wife as the first employee. They started the journey in a small room where, Sheila Ben, his wife, the better half, who stood shoulder to shoulder with sir and started this journey. And in 1995, Cadila Laboratory was rechristened into Cadila Pharmaceuticals Limited. And today it has become a conglomerate. We are present into aviation business, tea estate business, to gas business, to gloves business, hospital devices, to many more. It is there. And in 2018, we started Indrashil University, the dream which was started by our present chairman and managing director, Dr. Rajiv I. Modi, who himself is also an ex-IITian, also presently the chairman of IIT Guwahati. He started that we must produce lot of educated people who can go to corporate world, give their best, they start their business, they become more Rajivs into the field. And that's why it was started with a bold vision of providing quality education to the students of Gujarat and to the India. Just a small brief with the motto which this institute was started, and today I am proud to say that we have got quality faculties, the labs which are world class, at par with industry, and that's how we are progressing forward. Just giving you a brief, we have BTech, BSc, MSc in both chemistry and biology. In BTech, we have computer science, chemical and mechanical. We have done in a small span of just 3 years, we have done a tie-up with IIT Guwahati for semester exchange. We are the only one to give you dual degree program in Gujarat where you can study for 3 years here, 1 year in USA, and you get the degrees from both the university through credit transfer. And recently we have started postgraduate diploma in environment health safety, which is a very important area. After the climate change announcement and Paris Agreement has started, there is a lot of job opportunity in environmental safety, and that's where we have started this program of EHS. And this year we are launching postgraduate diploma in hospital management with stalwart faculties like Ashwini Madam and industry stalwarts coming from various parts of industries like hospital, like Apple Hospital, Sims, Sterling, etc. And we have started this postgraduate diploma in hospital. And now you may be thinking that why we must come to hospital management. So what is the scope for it? There must be thought process in your mind. कि hospital management લઈને હું શું કરું? So from that perspective, I'll say that why hospital management is so important nowadays. If you look at it, there are a lot of demand increase from hospitals, clinics, treating center for a large number of people in hospital administration job, and this growing in quantity. If you look at the particular applicants which is pool which is growing up, the trends in healthcare administrator is required, who are adapting their technology, detail oriented, engage in problem solving, and who are also a comfortable leader. And that's where our course is designed to make you as a good leader in the hospital healthcare management. Some hospitals give preferences to prospective administrator who are coming from either nursing or medical degree program, and typically this additional education adds to overall problem solving skill in a hospital or healthcare management. And that's why we have seen a lot of growing demand from mid and large size hospitals, which is going to continue. So if you are aspiring to grow into the leadership role in hospital management, definitely this is the course for you. And now if you look at it, what makes us apart? So I'll just brief in just 4 steps that the course has been designed well, making it a future focus. We have got a very unique approach of classroom based pedagogy complemented with hands-on experience in form of trips, seminar, internship and company projects. And you have to look at these 4 steps which I always define: the intensive classroom approach, project based approach, industry exposure, and a strong hospital management network to provide you with different skills which is required for you to become a leader. And this with 3-pronged approach of mindset, tools and resources and network, we endeavor to bring people together and collaborate on innovative solutions for healthcare problem. With the COVID thing, we have seen that how important it is for healthcare workers and staff to be there. Today, I'll just give you an example that simple person who is there, who is looking after the ICU bed inventory, is an important guy in COVID, because he knows when the other guy is going to move from ICU bed to other part, and when he has to shift somebody from either ER or other places. So that guy is important, and that job of QR, the operation relation, is quite important in today's world. It may look very simple, but it's very complex. So now looking to that 4D steps which you must think of entering a corporate world is: first you must freeze your alma mater, which institute you would like to go. Then I will always advise you to freeze your mentor, who is your Dronacharya, like your Ashwini madam is there, Pranav bhai is there, or I'll say Dr. Abhijat is there, or probably Dr. Ramesh is there. So these are all the guys who are going to be your Dronacharya to give you ample skills. And then you develop your future skill set, which is required by industry through research. And then you go through internship and go start off your careers, or maybe starting your own clinic or a business. That's how I see you starting a job or starting your business in a corporate world. And thank you for a small presentation, listening patiently to that part. Charles Darwin, you must have, because you must have all come from biology background where he has seen that, survival for the fittest. But I would like to say that those who have learned to collaborate and improvise most effectively have prevailed. And looking to this sentence, I would like to introduce Pranavji, who has got an important skills of collaborating and improvise effectively. And that's how being a doctor, he's a very efficient administrator and managing a hospital. Thank you.
Thank you, Abhinan sir, for setting the context of webinar very beautifully. And now it's time to listen from the key speaker, Dr. Pranav Thakur, and the skills which are required and intelligence that is demanded in the hospital, be it private or public. But before inviting him to take the charge, I wish to share his credentials in nutshell. He's an alumnus of IIM Kolkata. Dr. Thakur also holds PhD in public administration, as well postgraduate diploma in hospital management. He is again an MS in ENT. Additionally, he's a trained lead auditor from an ISO certified course. So with these many academic accomplishments and his intensive knowledge, right approach, and administrative abilities, he has been quite successful in the discharge of responsibilities entrusted on him. He possesses close to 20 years of experience while serving across all the medical specialties in hospitals, and to name a few are Sterling, Babs, Apple, Apollo, Canoria, and the likes. His key areas of interest are standard operating procedures, management, and accreditation. Besides, he also holds grip in day-to-day operational activity management, human asset development, and clinical audit that aids to mitigate everyday challenges while strengthening the roots of the organization. He has flair for academics as well, which is visible from his involvement while supervising projects of students from Symbiosis Pune and IHMR Jaipur. The list of his achievements, attributes is very exhaustive and difficult to share all. So I cut right here and invite Dr. Pranav to take the spotlight for his address. Dr. Pranav, please.
Thank you, Dr. Namrata, for such an enlightening and the elaborated introduction. But your performance is your introduction. That's what I would say. And thank you, Dr. Ashwini Ben, for giving me such an opportunity to interact with the future CEOs and COOs and department heads of our healthcare industry. And our future health is also in the hands of these prospective participants. And I thank you all the participants in the Indrashil University also for giving me such an opportunity to interact with this august audience. The topic is little offbeat, and it's like, setting up a paper and then giving the answer key first before giving the paper. So it's always in the healthcare, there will be a demand in the supply, I would say, because supply is little less till the time. But now with the more and more universities coming up with the hospital management course, and people have also realized that this part of the education is also important in the healthcare, because being a doctor, I know in our post graduation, graduation, even in super specialty courses, we are never taught of administration, we are never taught of finances, we are never taught of managing people, we are never taught of managing the patient services. And nowadays patient services are of prime importance, and if you don't know how to tackle those services, it would be a great disaster in any hospital management. So now the importance of human resource is immense in any hospital, be it a single specialty hospital, multi-specialty hospital, be it a single bed daycare unit, or be it a 100 bed or 1000 bed multi super specialty hospitals, or even it's a medicine. So every hospital administrator would in need of good people, and he would be seeking that I should have the most useful and the skilled, compassionate manpower with me. So for a hospital administrator to select a proper manpower is a key task for any successful hospital administration. See, the duration is 30-35 minutes I'll take, and then probably we may go for some question answer in the time limit. I would restrict my topic to the principles basically. We might not go into the role play or something like that. But there are few principles as a recruiter you must keep in mind. Just a minute. See, any recruitment goes by demand and supply. And as I told you, that there is always a scarcity of supply in skilled manpower, be it a nursing, be it a doctor, then be it technicians, be it in a, even in the reception staff, we usually lack manpower. So I would say second first, that appointment sometimes is at mercy of supply. Like whatever supply you are having, you have to choose. You don't have options to opt that. But nowadays options are opening up in a way that now more and more universities and colleges are coming up with the hospital management programs. And not only it's an administrative skill or the managerial skill, but now at departmental level also people are doing specialization. Like if I would say that many super specialty hospitals now recruiting chartered accountants. Now people are recruiting commerce grads for their finance and billing. Many hospitals now recruiting qualified human resource management fellows from reputed universities, because they know the importance of the recruitment and retaining the manpower. So now, apart from doctors and nurses, hospitals are also taking the shape of industries, particularly in a big cities or bigger hospitals. They are like a mini industry going on. But basically, since it is a service industry, you always need skills from a person who is there on the board, and a recruiter needs to assess those skills and those qualities of a fellow to imbibe into the culture of the hospital or the organization. So first and foremost thing is, any recruiter who wants to recruit manpower have the secret skills. Why I would say secret skill? You can see from the background, I have not put the logo of my hospital or my organization. I have not used any background in the PPT. It's a simple black and white. So for us, when we were appearing before 20-25 years, there were things like supply was short, demands were emerging, basically not huge, but it was emerging. And we were like this black and white screen, wherein we had a secret skill like a teacher. We can ask question, but we might not know the answer. That's what happening. But nowadays it doesn't happen. Now interviewer needs to update themselves with the skills also. They need to update themselves with the knowledge also, and they should be thorough in their recruitment skills, and they should be aware about the organization requirement. So any recruitment or any positions are filled with some basic principles. Like first I told you, demand and supply, that everybody knows. If supply is in short and demand is huge, then people do not have much options. But now you have those options. Besides parting some professionals, you have options. So any organization would expect a good manpower. Basically the dictum is right person at right place. So that dictum always goes with any good hospital. Those who want to sustain in the business of service, they will always be there. But there are few things which you need to keep in mind when you appear for the interview, that a type of the hospital, whether it's a trust hospital, whether it's a corporate hospital, whether it's a doctor run private hospital, or it's a government run hospital, because now governments are also recruiting MHAs. So that is also a very good opening sector in the government. And so government hospitals are even thinking for the good services to their patients. Now, all these basic principles before going to the interview, you need to keep in mind, because trust have different principles to operate. They might be a non-profit organizations, and the hospital might not be interested in the profits, but they might be more interested in the services. Whereas corporate hospitals, they would be interested in both, providing services as well as the profits. So whenever you go, your answers or your skills should be such for an interviewer to demonstrate that yes, you can perform in both the ways, providing services, at the same time you will improve the bottom lines also and the top lines also. So top line is your revenue part and the bottom line is your profit part, because any corporates would sustain for that. Like if a government hospital, if you are appearing, then the person obviously will be thinking that the person should stay for long. He should not ask for the, very high salaries, because in government there are few limitations and restrictions, because most of the jobs are on contracts, and contractual jobs have their financial limitations. So they will always assess your stability for 2 years, 3 years down the line, and they will always assess your ability and the skills for sustaining in the government structure, because government structure is a little bit different from your corporate or trust or a private hospital. When a doctor owned hospitals are there, because nowadays many hospitals are owned by doctors. Now doctors are also becoming entrepreneurs, and they have understood the business logistics of the hospital, though they might understand little late, and then they will hand over their business to the corporate world also after some times. But now doctors are also trying their hands in the entrepreneurship in the terms of hospital business. So their expectation would be a little different for the hospital administrators. They will always wish that a hospital administrator should be more faithful to him, and organization should work according to his own wishes and the principles. So these are the basic principles when you are going to appear for any recruitment side. There are few organizations which runs on a family business or family principles, and some organization or the some style of the management would be, they would run by rules and regulations maintained in the black and white. So you need to understand that also. While interacting with your interviewer panel, you should be able to make out whether the hospital or the organization runs on the family values, or whether organization runs on the basics of the principles, because these two have a little different aspects of management. A family principle run organization would be more of a emotionally charged and emotionally driven organization, whereas an organization which runs on a black and white rules and regulation, they will be more of a professional expertise and more of a professional skills which they will expect to perform. So I would not say that you should be ruthless enough in the corporate world to rule it by rules and regulation, as well as you should not be so much lenient in the your emotions to run a family principle organization. So both ways you need to balance, and you have to balance both ways in the your question answer session while interacting with your interviewer panel. So with this in your mind, let's go for the basic principles on which any panel will assess you, or I'll assess my guys on these scales. Basically, when I look for the people on the management side, and now management side is also very versatile and the dynamic. It's not only about unit head, it's not only about CEOs, it's not only about CEOs, but now departmental heads are also expected to have some kind of administrative qualification, and they would expect that my department head should be a kind of પેલું ગુજરાતીમાં આપણી કહેવત છે ને કે એક મોટું રાજ્ય હોય એના નાના નાના પરગણા હોય એ પરગણાના રાજા જેવો that administrator should be for that department. So now every department is like a unit. So our focus when selecting a person for a different position is different, but the universal concept of selecting a fellow in the position of department head or unit head or CEO would be this, that you should be king of that unit or that department to take the wholesome responsibility, not a piecemeal responsibility. So first skill we try to assess is ability to make sense of all the data that is coming down. Nowadays, it is the most important part of it. Whether it's a trust-run hospital or a corporate hospital or a private hospital or a government hospital, now data are your asset. Basically, as like doctors are your asset, equipments are your asset, physical facilities your asset. Now data is also very good asset if you can interpret that data correctly. If you cannot interpret the data, it's just a numerical number, it's not asset. So now in the business also, in the department performance also, you need to have those data and you need to interpret those data. Like I'll give you an example. If you go for the accreditation in terms of NABH, JCI or simple ISO, you will be monitoring indicators. More indicators will be derived from your raw data. If you can interpret those raw data into the indicators and indicators into the benchmarks, then your departmental performance will improve. Then your organization performance will improve. If we'll talk business, then your data of your doctors, then data of your specialty admissions, then your data of your OT admissions, surgeries, your ICU admissions, this will all count. And interpretation of that data is very important. So whenever you talk about anything in terms of organizational improvement, departmental improvement, your focus should be on the data analysis and data interpretation and referring those data for a fruitful outcome. Another important skill is people who can think beyond the traditional competitive minimal things. See, there are two ways to do the administration. One is the traditional way of it and another is the innovative. થોડું ગુજરાતીમાં કહીશ, આપણને ઘણીવાર ખબર હોય છે કે ઓર્ગેનાઇઝેશનમાં ઘણા માણસો કંઈક આઉટ ઓફ વેજ વિચારતા હોય ને આઉટ ઓફ વેજ કરતા હોય, in terms of dressing also, in terms of their hairstyles also, in terms of their makeup styles also, and in terms of their working styles also. એટલે આ જે આઉટ ઓફ બોક્સ માણસો છે, they make both sides of impact, positive impact also as well as negative impact also. But we need to think beyond in terms of the positive impact for the organization. Like traditional aspect of taking feedback is in terms of paper. But most of the hospitals, or say, I would say now people are migrating to digital platform. And people are aware about Google Forms, people are aware about the feedback apps, people are aware about the reviews, ratings, everything. But most of the people fail to interpret those reviews and ratings and fail to respond to those reviews and ratings or analyzing those reviews and ratings. So we have to move beyond the traditional formats of taking feedbacks, and we have to move beyond that. Now people have devised a strategy that any negative reviews, they will immediately call the patient or relative and they will ask the elaborative explanation. They will try to console them, they will try to sort their problems out. At the same time, any positive reviews also, people are trying to make a call and a conversation with them for the saying thank you for appreciation of the services. So previously we were traditionally thinking that whosoever is thinking negative, we'll call them and we'll try to pacify them. But now it's not the way. You have to take into consideration of both the aspects. You have to consider your positive aspects also, and you have to consider your negative reviews also. So this is one example where a person should move beyond traditional management styles, and we will assess that any person who can think out of the box, he will be good for the organization, or that will not work for the organization. The third principle would be people who can understand all stakeholders' perspectives, like manufacturers to insurers. That means needed, because in the line, my supply of services will not only start when patient comes in the hospital. Before coming also, our organization services starts. So whatever minor or small activities you are thinking that is not important for our customer, it might be of an immense importance to our customer, and that we must, as an administrator, should know. Any interviewer will try to assess that skills, because what I told you, in a traditional manner, what we will think, when a patient comes in the hospital, our service starts, but it's not like that. Nowadays, our service starts much beyond when a patient comes, before patient comes. Because if we want patient, then also we need to do lot many things to get into those patients confidence. So this is very important. Like manufacturer to insurance will try to analyze your skill and your knowledge about who will be the service provider to our patient first, like our doctors, like our employees, and how will you approach them for their service providing, and till the time how will a insurer will act for any insurance or the your patient credit business. So we'll try to analyze your skill in maintaining the supply chain in the hospital, and how will you maintain the supply chain and make it efficient, more efficient for the hospital to have the most services offered very optimally and in a profit making business. So these three skills are most important. The fourth one is we are doing also, and we are trying very hard, that people who can really understand the consumer mindset. I have purposefully used this as a consumer, because patients are no longer patients nowadays. There are a lot many services where patient is not coming, a normal human being is coming. I'll give you an example of health checkup. Like after COVID, people are much more apprehensive about the preventive healthcare systems. If a health checkup person will come, do you think he is a patient? No. He is a normal human being like you and me. He's coming to the hospital just to check and take a reassurance from the doctor whether he is suffering from any illness or not. And once we'll get that assurance that he's not suffering from any illness, he's as good as normal human being, and he will behave like a normal human being in your organization. If your mindset is to treat a patient, to handle a patient, then you will not be able to treat or handle a good human being services. So we as an employer will always try to assess your skills in terms of patient mindset as well as the consumer mindset. Patient mindset is also very important. You have to be empathetic, you have to be compassionate. The next skill is that only. So for patients, approaching patient, we will try to assess your skills in terms of compassion. Will try to assess your skills in terms of empathy, but as well as when you approach for the front office job or the unit head job or front office administrative job, we'll try to assess your mindset for a normal consumer or normal inquiries. Like I'll give you a small example. Some hospitals always set an example or set a benchmark that my telephone services or inquiry services should be prompt enough. And they will set a benchmark, or they will monitor the data, like my phone has to be answered within 3 rings. So this is what the mindset of the people now. Many hospitals have independent call centers, and they are monitoring customer satisfaction in the call centers. They are outsourcing the services also. So this is the kind of hospital industry now. It's not a traditional hospital. It's now hospitality industries. So sometimes we always tell that it is hospi held kind of stuff. So you need to combine hospitality with the health services. So you need to understand that consumer mindset. And more or less, like patients are patients, but who will consume your services? Hospital services, their relatives. Most of the time, billing will be settled by them, counseling will be, attended by them, nursing will be handled by them. So practically our 70% of services will be handled by relatives. They are normal human beings. So our mindset also should be in that focus. That is also very important. So we'll always try to assess your skill in terms of medical, clinical, and the professional, as well as these aspects of the consumerism. I told you that people working in healthcare must have compassion and the empathy. Without compassionate approach and the empathetic approach, you cannot succeed any day in the hospital industry. Your EQ should be most powerful amongst your all Qs. I think everybody must be aware about the EQ, that is emotional quotient. Sometimes we are talking about physical quotient, your body power, muscle power. Sometimes we talk about the intellectual quotient. That is also very important, your brain utilization. Third is the emotional quotient, which is the most important part in our hospital industry. So we'll try to analyze your skill by giving you work scenarios. Like if some patient is dying, their relatives are notorious, and they know that we have not paid enough amount of money, or we have some sort of pending bills. They would always try to create a ruckus in the hospital, and they will try that rest of the money hospital should waive. In any corporate world, it's not happening right now. As an administrator, you will have a task to recover those money from dying patient. So you need to handle those emotions. You need to handle those mob. You need to handle those, intellectual levels also, wherein you will be able to, you have to answer their clinical questions, their service questions, and their emotions. So wherein your compassion and empathy will come into the picture. So these scenarios nowadays are coming very common, and post COVID we are seeing that patients are also in a financial stress, relatives are in a financial stress, they are having their disturbed emotions, and this combination, deadly combination, is affecting healthcare business right now also. So that we need to keep in mind, and you have to have those skills while entering into the hospital administration. The sixth one is very important, highly adaptive and probably not a very rigid and diffuse person, because things change on the fly. In the hospitals, you cannot run each and every department's everyday movement by rules and regulation. And that is why it is called human intensive industry. Like an intensive care unit, this is also a human intensive unit, wherein you are dealing with the emotions, wherein you are dealing with the diversified human beings, wherein you are dealing with the diversified problems. So you have to have your principles ready. Organization's culture should be stabilized, and we'll try to assess that what values you can add to organization culture, what values you can add into the problem solving approach of the employees, because they are your internal marketeers. If you will not handle your employees well with the organization culture and values keeping in mind, then your employees will be your bad mouths in the community. As well as you need to handle your patients and the relatives in a way, in a term, that your organization culture and values will not be hampered. So this is a very delicate balance, and for that you need to be open-minded guy with trying to accept, who will try to accept all kind of inputs happening around you. And taking all those inputs into your consideration, you need to come out with an innovative solution. But if you are a rigid person, if you are a principled guy who has written down his own solutions in a manner, and if you will give a solution, one solution to every person for the same problem, might not work for every person with the same solution. Problem might be the same, but you need to analyze that problem, keeping that individual, keeping that circumstances in mind, and then you have to come out with a solution, keeping organizational cultures and values intact. because that is also very important. You cannot take some kind of a decision like I'll give you 5% discount, 10% discount, 20% discount, or 30% discount. Then your organizational value will go down. But you have to, tackle that problem with the person. So we'll always try to handle, or we'll try to assess those skills. Like how will you handle the same problem with the different persons in different circumstances? For that, you need to be highly adaptive, and that adaptiveness to any circumstances or any problems or any conflict is very much necessary in you. And last but not the least, if you have everything in place, your critical and creative thinking for the organization will be very important. Irrespective of position, you might be some kind of shift in charge, or departmental head, or hospital administrator, or unit head, or CEO or COO. Depending on your position and depending on your portfolio of working, we always try to assess how critical are you for your department and your working style, and how much creative are you to imbibe the values of the organization and to take it forward into the community. Because for any organization to sustain along, like Mr. Abhinandan Pandya was telling about the journey of Cadila and establishing more and more organization. But if you will go minutely into the details of every organization, fundamental principles of the founder will be there. It will not deviate. That is why industry is sustaining. Those industries, it's a dictum in the industries, those industries have surpassed 100 years or 2 generations. They have strong fundamental values. So any critiques or any creativity will come from your side. We'll always try to assess in terms of organizational culture and the fundamental values, keeping in mind. You may be very critical about organizational value and the structure. Then you will not be probably useful for me, because you are deviating from my culture and my fundamental values. So I may not, how intelligent you might be, but you will be a great failure for me, because you have no respect or you have no clue to my organization culture and values. You may be very creative, but not aligned with my values, cultures, principles. Then also you are not useful to the organization. Many administrators fail, miserably fail in the organization, and some average candidate or a good human being will succeed in the organization. The only difference between them is this organization culture, values, and the principles adaptation. That is most important when you try to give your inputs. This you should keep in mind. Any organization is standing on their culture, organization standing on the values, organization is standing on the fundamental principles. If you are aligned with those principles and the culture, then you will be a successful person, and we'll try to analyze those skills in you, that whether you will be aligned with the organization or not, with our values, keeping in mind. So these are the skills basically in nutshell we try to analyze while we try to incorporate human resource or human resource into the organization. Inducting a new manpower, inducting a new person in the organization is a very tough task, mind well, because you are dealing with the varied skills, varied technical skills basically, as well as you need to have that good human being approach in the candidate. So many recruiters or many HR stalwarts fail in recruiting good guys, and maintaining the dictum that right person should be in the right place. And I would add one more, right in the right organization, because these the combination is very important in the healthcare setups. Right person, right place in the right organization. If person is right, place is right, but the organization values and cultures are not matching with the person's culture and values, he may not be the person for the organization. So this is in nutshell. You need to keep in mind when you are going to an interview panel, They will try to assess 360-degree. Now it's not like that you have a technical qualification, like you are a doctor, you are a nurse, you are a lab technician, you are a radiology technician, you are a store manager or pharmacist. Irrespective of that, irrespective of technical qualification, any recruiter will now have, besides the technical qualification, they will always try to screw you. They will always try to assess, they will always try to analyze you in terms of their organizational requirement and their organizational sustainability. Because they all know that nowadays, job tenures are going shorter. Any interviewers previously asking that how much time will you give to the organization? So how much time do you stay with the organization? So previously they were expecting 5 years or probably more. But now their tenure is also come down. Their tenure is now 2 years. Any candidate who is sustaining for 2 years or more, it will be a good activity or good candidate for them to retain for a longer period of time. Because candidates are also now ambitious. Candidates are also now aspirants. So there are many opportunities. There are many diversified, healthcare services, and the business are coming up, and demands are always increasing nowadays. And particularly after COVID, people have understood the importance of MHAs, Masters in Hospital Administrators. Now they have understood that administrators are very important part. They are now a different specialty in the hospital, like a medicine guy, surgical guy, gynecology, pediatrics, orthopedics. Now hospital management is a different specialty altogether. Even in nursing homes, now they have understood that we must have one administrator and we have to hand over those responsibilities to that administrator for running the hospital day-to-day operations. So now you are going into the different era wherein your job will not be a back office job. Your job will not be a lateral job in the hospital, or it will not be a now, allied science. It will be an affiliated science now, or I would say it's a core science in the hospital management now, or hospital admin industry. That hospital administrators are integral part of any services. So any hospital administrator going for the interview, going for the jobs, every interviewer will try to assess those skills. So I would summarize my session here with the 7 skills. They are very important in our life. And 8th dimension I am living. આપણે ગુજરાતીમાં જેમ 8 ઋતુ હોય, 8 દિશા હોય, એવી રીતે there are 8 skills which are important. 7 I have enumerated. 8th you have to understand from my first slide that recruiter is a recruiter, boss is boss, he is always right. So whenever you are appearing and you are in confrontation on principles or on the any topic, please try to give respect to your interview panel. Try to give respect to your boss views. Try to refer, that's not an issue. Argue with him, not an issue. Argue with her, not an issue. But try to take him into the confidence so that your job is secured and your salary negotiations goes smooth. Otherwise your salary negotiation will go a little hard. Your day-to-day performance might have some hurdles or some bumps when you have that job. So this is the last skill which you need to understand and you need to throw light on it. So I would end my session here. I am expecting that I could convey to your expectations and institute's expectation as well, because you people are associating or going to be associated with an institute where it is having already a very good stand in the community. So thanks a lot for inviting me and giving me the opportunity to interact with this enlightened, varied audience. And we are always there to be with you guys. I would not say that help you guys, because sometimes we will be outdated and we are having already gray hairs now. So our tenure is a little short now. but you have a long horizon to work. You have a long way to go ahead in your life. I would wish that all will succeed in the healthcare industry with the principles and the values, because healthcare industry is also suffering from the values and the principle crisis. So that also we need to keep in mind. I again thank you all for being patient listeners, and we thank university, particularly Ashwini Ben, Dr. Namrata Man, and Mr. Abhinan Pandya to invite me and giving me this opportunity. Thank you. I would be happy to take any question answers if we can take it in our time limit. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much, Dr. Pranav, and giving a very fresh perspective to this demand and skill in this private and public hospitals field, especially when you talked about the 7 skills and the 8 secret skills to go before the boss. Perhaps that is an age-long, demand and skill, required. And the new coinages, especially new coin words and phrases, when you said human intensive unit and hospitality industry. Sir, with this, I request to share the screen so that, your face is visible.
Sure.
So the new coinage phrase, sir, a human intensive unit, when you said, and hospitality industry, and EQ to be kept, above all the EQs. That was wonderful, sir. And it was very aptly said that what are the skill sets and how they are pertinent to the industry today, hospital industry today, which has gone from service industry to the profit-making industry. So thank you so much, sir. And with this, I would like to invite Ashwini Madam, before we come up with few questions from the audience, I invite a stalwart in hospital management sector, Dr. Ashwini Vora. She is Director PGDHM course at Indus University to share her concluding remarks on the session. Ashwini Madam, please.
Thank you, Namrata. Thank you, Pranav Bhai, for accepting my invitation and providing us such a valuable information to all the prospects. We all know that there is a huge gap between demand and supply, because the way the burden of chronic disease is increasing, we are really fighting to manage the infrastructure and other demands of supplies, as we witnessed during the COVID about ventilator and oxygen and other things. Now, the government is putting so much of effort to meet, which if we see the positive aspect of COVID, we have entered into the digital era. We never thought of telemedicine and telehealth so soon on the landscape. So you rightly said that data is a precious resource, because now everything will be data driven. So all the health workers will be should have the digital skills, and digital skills will be the prerequisite. At least basic digital skills we will be requiring, because now we are talking about the artificial intelligence, even precision medicine. So all will enable the healthcare professional to better understand the people's needs. And soon I think that in hospital we have to hire data scientists, AI engineers, and data governance of experts. So digital skills will be
Please,
we have some about logical things, but pure service economy. We need emotional skills, as you said about the emotional emotional quotient, EQ. I always say in our healthcare sector, we need IQ plus EQ and decency, because our health workers should be so empathetic communication. I always emphasize that to take the data-driven decision making. And as you said, that critical thinking, because it is very important, because critical thinking is always looking towards the data. Goal or strategy we formulate, it should be goal oriented. And we have to develop our human resources, because they are the assets now. They are the stakeholders. And we hospitals, we should put, and the institute also should cooperate for the skill development or the demand and expectations of the market and demand and expectations of the employer or recruiter. And we have to try to balance the demand and supply gap, because soon we will be facing the talent gap. Just now we are trying to acquire the required skills, but now the time will be coming that we will require the talent. And talent, for talent gap, we should prepare the health workers for the, if we look from the future orientation. And last thing, sir, you mentioned about the values and organizational culture, because I always emphasize that organization culture should be strong enough and organization should be value based. When you are talking about mission and vision, you should make the value system as a strong foundation, because values, and that is why you need organizational justice, because Nyaya is very important for the accomplishment of the strong values. Otherwise, if you are not having terminal values, so value system should be very strong. As you said that we are facing three kinds of values: character values, personal values, and work values. So we have to train and develop the skills in that direction also, that how they should balance the values. At the same time, I feel that all the hospitals or the CEOs, they should develop the political skill also, means how to use the power of the position. Because nowadays, it is a customized thing. You have to identify the potentials of the workers, and accordingly, you should provide the training. So it should be customer training. Sometimes dormant potentials are there. जैसे आपने बताया कि the person who was not having that strong IQ can succeed due to the creative skill. So we have to encourage and motivate the employees or the health workers so that they can bloom and they can give their best output. So we are always thinking about the poor performance, but while recruiting, as you said, that recruiters should have the secret skills, because when you are giving the appointment, it is always demand based, or we are focusing on the short supply and everything. And that is why we are recruiting the wrong person. And we are suffering for that, because we never go for the psychometric tests and aptitude tests, because we are having shortage of skilled workers. So I think that we should focus more on the training and development instead of going for acquisitions and mergers. We should build the strong foundation of the organization and develop such a culture that organizational citizenship behavior develops. So and we grew right to institutes instead of the hospital management program, they should design the program so that their focus should be on that intensity of knowledge also. So skills, knowledge and talent, we should try to focus on that, and the hospitals also should join hands, and they should invest in the human assets. So, sir, this is how we can grow. Otherwise, our growth, you are just running the hospital and administering the office, hospital, because sabka saath, sabka vikas, when every employee walk with the leader, then and then growth is possible. It is not a one person work, but it is a team work. So, sir, thank you so much for providing such a valuable information, sir. I think all the participants will be very happy to listen to you, sir. Thank you, Namrata. Over to Namrata.
Thank you, madam, for beautifully summarizing it. And I'll have, before wrap up, I'll have a quick review from Abhinand sir. Abhinand sir, please.
No, I must thank Pranav ji for very aptly summarizing 7 skills, यानी कि 7 फेरों ऑफ हॉस्पिटल जो है वो स्किल्स में उन्होंने बांध के रखा है, which is aptly required, and on the top of it, the utmost skill, 8th skill is yes boss, which is most important required. In fact, in hospital, yes doctor. Some of the time, most of the doctors are so much apt at listening yes. So most of the time, the healthcare worker, the administrator, they are actually the buffer in between the patient and the doctors, and they have to play a very crucial part of it to make sure that all the system is managed smoothly, and they are the part of it, because doctors moving from one OT to another, the ICU guys, the patients, lot of strain is there, the relatives, most of the times. So they are actually playing a buffer role in between. So that apt of agility and EQ is most important for an administrator. Without that, actually they fail to deliver the patient's expectation, also the doctor's expectation. In a way, I will say that doctor is also one customer for the hospital, in a way. And he has rightly assumed everything and put it, because he is coming from a doctor's background, so he understands the psyche of both the sides. And that's why he is the best orator for this overall thought process. And I thank you him for giving an apt reply to everything and giving it in a bouquet, which all the people who would like to become the future CEOs, I can see a lot of girls are there. I'll give you the examples of Dr. Preetha Reddy. She started from the floor desk, taking care of all the patients when his father, he started in late 40s, Apple hospitals. So likewise, she moved up to the ladder. Likewise, many of the girls, they can pursue the career in corporate hospitals and they can move to the next ladder. There are a lot of examples which can be taken where a lot of Ayurvedic doctors, MBBS doctors, they have moved up to the ladder. They've got apt inside. Their brain is quite agile to become the leader. They require some flair of management guidance. That's all. And thank you, sir, for being there. And whenever you are in Ahmedabad, please visit us.
Thank you, Abhinand sir, for your reflections. And it seems that Dr. Pranav has said so well articulated the session that it has left with no questions with the audience.
There are two things when there are no questions. Either people have understood everything or they have not understood anything.
I take the first one, sir. I take the first call.
Thank you.
Simply, it was very simply defined, very well defined, with so much of clarity that it has really gone very well. Even a person with a non-medical background or management background like me also have understood that's how, what is a secret recipe of, this thing. Ashutosh Bhatt is there. We are in the first one, sir. the same thing has been reflected from the audience also, sir. So now it is customary and obligatory also to thank all who have made this webinar successful, starting with you, sir, Dr. Pranav. Thank you so much for being with us and enlightening our audience on this very significant topic, that is what is the demand, what is the skill required in public and private hospitals these days. And I also thank Dr. Ashwini Vora, who is stalwart in hospital management, and she's director PGDHM at IU. Abhinand sir, who heads a project at Industry University, he is also to be thanked. Dr. Bharti Dave, she was busy, and that is why she has left for some other webinar. Again, there is special thanks to Dr. H.N. Singh. Shri H.N. Singh, rather, I correct myself. He is a dean from BSc Nursing, Apollo Hospital, admission team also, IT support, IU management, and especially all the audience and the participants who are with us today. So thank you, everyone, and we wish lot of advantages in the forthcoming webinars also, which we'll be hosting. And with this, I end here with once again thanks to Almighty and to all and everyone here in the Shield wishes you safety and health. Jai Hind. Prachi, we may end now. Prachi, if you are there, we can end now.
Shall we leave?
Yeah, yes, sir.
Yes.
Thank you so much,
Thank
sir.
you.
Once
Thank
again,
you.
sir.
Thank you, Pranav bhai.
Thank you, madam.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye. Have a great day.